Alrighty then, this is me talking to you about the vagus nerve. What the hell does that damn thing do anyways? Why is it so important? It's a hint, it's not the courage you need to gamble in Vegas. So, don't link those two. Okay? Now, the vagus nerve is actually a bundle of nerve fibers that stretch from the brainstem down into the colon. It's called the vagus because it wanders like a vagabond from the back of the neck down the digestive system. The nerve fibers can be found on the right and left side of your body, connecting most of your major organs. It's known as the wandering nerve because of the crucial role it plays in your well-being. When this nerve is stimulated, it activates your body's relaxation response to help deal with stress and a wide range of other conditions. It's also thought to play a huge role in the mind-body connection. And hypnosis is one of the easiest ways to stimulate it. So your subjects my subjects and clients can actually reap these benefits. Before you find out how hypnosis can activate the vagus nerve, let's talk about the key functions and what in the hell does it do. Your nervous system can be divided into two parts, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic part increases your heart rate, your breathing, your blood pressure, your alertness, and energy levels when needed, while the parasympathetic part decreases them. The sympathetic side is often called the fight or flight system, while the parasympathetic side is referred to as the rest and digest system. The vagus nerve operates mainly with the parasympathetic nervous system, linking major organ activity to the brain. According to Medical News Today, its four main functions are sensory, providing sensory information from the throat, the heart, the lungs, and the abdomen. 2 is special sensory, providing taste sensation behind the tongue. 3 is motor, providing movement for neck muscles so you can swallow and speak. And 4, parasympathetic is responsible for your digestive tract, respirations, and your heart rate function. So as you can see, it plays a pretty crucial role when it comes to the well-being of your body. It does this by communicating with various organs by sending out signals using neurotransmitter acetylcholine. These signals are vital in order to keep your body working properly. If your brain was unable to communicate with your lungs, for instance, you would not be able to breathe. Right. So, while the sympathetic nervous system controls the fight or flight response, sending out stress-related hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, so you can take action. The vagus nerve does the opposite, helping you get rid of stress and remaining calm. The more things you do to stimulate the vagus nerve, the more relaxed and less stressed you feel. That's what happens when people meditate or chant mantras over and over again, or when they're deeply involved in prayers. The breathing rate synchronizes itself to its optimum level that activates the vagus nerve and promotes relaxation. Conditions affected positively and negatively by the vagus nerve. While stimulation of the vagus nerve is thought to be a good thing, like any other part of the human body, it can also malfunction. If that happens, it can result in a variety of different issues such as fainting, mood disorders, obesity, difficulty swallowing, gastrointestinal disease, chronic inflammation, B12 deficiencies, seizures, and a few others. On the other hand, vagus nerve stimulation has the ability to improve certain conditions, including alcohol addiction, cancers, Alzheimer's, mood disorders, anxiety disorders, heart disease, migraines, leaky gut, tinnitus, poor blood circulation, and a slew of others. Doctors use a special technique to stimulate the vagus nerve, sending electrical energy pulses to the brain via the nerve. According to Uplift Connect, the vagus nerve stimulation, or VNS, has been shown to be an effective way to treat epilepsy, depression, and arthritis. And for epilepsy patients, it has an added benefit of helping improve their mood. VNS is done using a device similar to a pacemaker and only with the proper medical supervision, of course. But there are lots of natural ways to stimulate the vagus nerve as well. So when you're talking about sticking a pacemaker in there, it's like, jabbing something underneath the skin, running some wires outside, and sending electrical pulses to your vagus nerve. I prefer to use the natural method because I don't feel like plucking somebody's freaking vagus nerve like a fucking banjo string. That's just me. So, natural techniques for stimulating the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve can be strengthened and toned like any muscle just by using it more often. And when you do, you'll improve your health at the same time. Some simple, completely natural ways to stimulate the vagus nerve are exercise. Exercise is good for your brain's cognitive facilities, right? Deep and slow breathing, right? Get you out of the fight or flight by using 100% of your lung capacity instead of 1/3, right? Thoughtful meditation, mindfulness meditation, thoughtful meditation, whichever way you want to call it, whatever way you want to do it. I recommend that you get a person that's done it before and not just said, well, I just close my eyes and think about nothing. That's not necessarily meditation. Get somebody that's certified to teach some meditation classes because you're going to get what you pay for. Not what your neighbor is telling you to do, unless, of course, they're a certified yoga practitioner or something of the sort. Or a actual meditator, right, that's been doing it for years and is very good at it, right? Or a hypnotist, right, that touts meditation or hypnotations or guided meditations, things of that nature, right? Singing. Singing stimulates the vagus nerve. Humming, chanting, and singing increases the heart rate variability rate, and it's linked to a reduced morbidity and morbidity and mortality, and improved the psychological well-being and the quality of life. Laughter stimulates the vagus nerve. Yoga stimulates the vagus nerve. Gargling with salt water stimulates the vagus nerve. Imagine that. Notice all those things seem to be upbeat and cheerful ways of doing stuff. Deep breathing has long been associated with relaxation, and the fact that it stimulates the vagus nerves helps explain why this happens. It also helps us understand why hypnosis is always a great way to stimulate the nerve and contribute to your overall health and well-being. You see, the vagus nerve runs down in and among the intestines, right, and many other places. So when you're talking about stimulating the vagus nerve through deep breathing, you have to move the diaphragm up and down, which stimulates these organs and gets that stuff flowing through there, right? It's like a pump, right? You're putting pressure on your abdominal cavity and also on your lungs by moving that diaphragm up and down. Now, we, as Americans at least, do not use the diaphragm very much, which is why we only breathe 1/3 of our lung capacity, and yet we still do quite a bit of stuff with that 1/3, okay? But it does keep us in the fight or flight response, right? Because we don't have a calm and cool atmosphere around us, because we're not in a relaxed state, usually. Staring at our phones. Check out my other videos, right? Being in the flow state, check out my other videos for meditations, right? We are always in a state of reaction, of fight or flight. What do I need to do? Where do I need to go? Okay? When you breathe, you relax. It just happens that way. Take a couple of deep breaths if you don't believe me right now. Breathe in. Let it all go. Breathe in again. Breathe out. Let it all go. Do you feel a little bit more relaxed there? Not unless you're trying to freaking prove me wrong, but, you know, generally, if you're doing it and following it the way I asked you to, you should feel a little bit more relaxed. That's what deep breathing does. So the link between the vagus nerve and better hypnosis is there are bucket loads of things that we can do for people using this hypnosis. And the way hypnosis works is that it bypasses the conscious mind. It communicates directly with the unconscious mind. So go ahead and check out my video on the conscious and subconscious mind, right? We're always trying to get somebody to talk to the subconscious and unconscious mind. Well, that's what hypnosis does. That's exactly the purpose of hypnosis. Not meditation. Meditation will get you there after a few months. Hypnosis with a grand or good practitioner of hypnosis can get you there in a matter of minutes. So if time is a thing for you and you have some money, you may want to go the hypnosis route. If you don't have any money and you really need to get some stuff done, go the meditation route. But you're still going to have to pay somebody to teach you how to do the meditations properly. Now, that's where the power of change truly lies. To tap into the power and to open a portal into the infinite possibilities of the subconscious and unconscious minds. People who have lifelong fears can finally let them go. People who have struggled to stop smoking can suddenly quit. It's not magic, it's just that the unconscious mind has an enormous amount of influence over the things that people say and do. But how does this tie into the vagus nerve? The brain research scientists now believe that the vagus nerve is kind of a communication superhighway linking the conscious and unconscious minds. The vagus nerve links the brainstem to the heart, the lungs, and the gut. As a part of the parasympathetic nervous system, it controls the unconscious body functions such as breathing, heart rate, digestion, food, and sweating. It also helps regulate blood pressure, to stimulate saliva production, and contributes to taste and tear production. It plays such a major role in key bodily functions that without it, life as you know it would be impossible. Therefore, a properly functioning vagus nerve is crucial for good emotional and physical health. And my research is showing, based on the physical location of the vagus nerve, which is in front of the spinal column, and it runs down through the throat and around the esophagus and such like that, that my theory is it is in the same general location, or the same location as the pranic tube. So when you think about the chakras, that's your pranic tube, where they are centrally, right? And it seems to be because the vagus nerve's location in the neck and down towards the coccyx, right? It is in the ideal location. They basically overlap each other for the pranic tube. If you don't know what the pranic tube is, well, go check it out. Pranic tube, chakra system, the line that goes up and down in your middle of your body. Yeah, the pranic tube. Also, I'm going to try to link it in with the dantian, the three dantians. And I do believe that the vagus nerve, through my research, is showing that they're all connected. Because if you do some research on the chakra system, the ancient text, you'll see the Kundalini snake, there's only one snake. But in today's society, there's two, right? The Hermes scepter for medical thing is, oh, it's based off of the DNA structure and all that. Or is it? It's related to it, sure. But could it be that one snake is to stimulate the chakras and the other snake is to stimulate the dantians? Be careful when you're stimulating the chakra, because you don't want to get into Kundalini psychosis, where you think you're in a state, but you're truly not. Because true Kundalini has to go up and down in a rotational fashion as part of the toroid of the human body, right? See, all this stuff links together now. You can't just study. That's why I have on my website, 9 Elements Ministry, this stuff is all connected. You can't just study one little fucking thing. If that's the case, you could just study the root chakra and you'd be good, right? It all comes together. You have a complete system in your human body and in its immediate area, within the aura, within your toroid, right? It's all linked together. That's why I'm trying to put all this stuff together, and that's why I'm talking out my, it sounds like I'm talking out my ass, but I'm not. The universe is connected through the universal law of oneness, right? Everything is connected. And when we try to break it down and say, well, we have a geologist for a scientist and we have a doctor that's a scientist, but there's still a scientist. We continue to run down the rabbit hole and try to make more and more niche down stuff when we could not possibly comprehend the vastness of just the human body, which is what I'm trying to do here, is put all that stuff back together in order to understand the whole rather than each specific part. And even with the doctors that are out today, they have a neurosurgeon, and then you have a heart doctor, right? And then you have ENT, ear, nose, and throat guy, and you got the dentist, and then you got the eye doctor, right? These are just a handful of folks. What's what and who's who? How do we put all this stuff together? Well, I can't figure out your disease, so you're going to have to go see this other guy. Well, you either talk to the other guy, and he doesn't know what the fuck the other guy's talking about. He's trying to send you back to the same guy you just came from. But neither one of them can figure it out because they're too specialized in what they're doing, and nobody knows. Now, back to the article from the Hypnosis Training Academy. Back to hypnosis. When someone is hypnotized, the hypnotist begins to get them relaxed. This can be accomplished by asking them to focus on their breathing, using a variety of different induction techniques, which I'm not getting into right now. After a time, the person's breathing should become slower, more regular, before they enter the hypnotic trance. Go check out my video on how to get into or preparing yourself for a hypnotic session to get the idea of what you need to do to maximize your benefits from a hypnotic session. So, it's exactly the kind of breathing that will help stimulate the vagus nerve. It's only after the trance is established we'll be able to help the client make significant life changes using a variety of positivity techniques. We're going to talk directly to your subconscious and unconscious mind. That's what we do. Now, please understand that I'm not asking you to find a hypnotist that got a certificate over the last weekend, right, while they were drinking beer and eating pizza. You can do that, absolutely. But are they a true hypnotist, or they just got another certificate they stick on their wall next to whatever else that they got up on that wall? Having a bunch of certificates does not make you good at what you do. As a hypnotist that's been doing this for a few years, right, and is actually focused on this, will be able to help you. If not, they will be able to tell you that they cannot help you and refer you to someone who can. Check out the American Institute of Hypnosis. They have a list of qualified hypnotherapists, which is usually through them. They get their certificates through them. So be careful on where you go and who you talk to about hypnosis, right? I'm not talking about you going to Vegas and getting hypnotized by a street hypnotist. That's a different type of hypnosis. They're doing it for fun and for show, to show you the amazing effects that hypnosis can have on the human body and the human itself. But out in the middle of the street, we're not going to get into your deepest, darkest, dungeony tunnels and try to unlock your inner child, right? That's for private conversation. That's for a private space, right? When you're holding us in confidence and we're holding you in confidence, right? Also, for hypnosis, if you're on any medication or seeing a doctor for any sort of mental disorder or anything of the nature, right, or seeing a psychologist or psychiatrist, we as a hypnotist are going to need a note from said doctor to play around with your brain. Because if we trigger a trauma unknowingly, because you did not tell us that you were seeing a psychologist or psychiatrist, that psychologist and psychiatrist is going to have to help put you back together. That's why we need the doctor's note. Because you didn't tell us what was going on, and now we triggered a psychosis, and you didn't tell us that there was one, and you did not tell us that there was a psychiatrist or psychologist that was trying to help you out. We have to work together to fix you if you need a fixing. If you need some stop smoking stuff, anybody can fucking do that. Don't talk to me, right? If you need something life-altering, life-changing. I'm not saying that stopping smoke is not life-altering, life-changing. I'm talking about I dive in to find your trauma, the heart of everything, the reason why you started smoking, the reason why you're binge eating. Not that you're binge eating, not that you're smoking. I don't fucking care. There's something that started that trauma, right? That's a symptom of the trauma. I don't treat symptoms. Why? My job as a hypnotist is to make sure that I never see you again for that issue. That's the purpose of hypnosis. Period. Psychologists and psychiatrists have stemmed from hypnosis, from mesmerism. Go look it up. Long, long time ago. Hypnosis was the shizzle. All of a sudden, well, we can't give definitive results and we're going to need more evidence to figure out how the human mind works. Not that hypnosis can go in there, grab the freaking any problem that you have and fix it. They need to make money. If the doctor cured you, how the fuck are they going to make money tomorrow? Just a question. If the eye doctor was able to fix your vision completely, how are you going to come back next year to buy more eyeglasses? Get another prescription. Check out your eyeballs. Why? The last time you went to the eye doctor, if you did they give you eye exercises to strengthen your optic nerves? Why would they? Do they exist? Yes, they do. But if you strengthen your optic nerve and make those nerves bigger and better, then your vision improves. Well, pretty soon you'll have 20/20 vision. You won't need laser surgery. You won't need eyeglasses. And at age 45 or so, you won't need reading glasses. You just do the eye exercises, just like you would go to the gym to build up some muscle, doing some push-ups and sit-ups, lifting weights, getting all big like Arnold. Brr. Okay? So, once we get you to a state, right, you're already stimulated. You already activated the vagus. We have activated the vagus nerve, or we, as you and me, the client, have activated the vagus nerve. Yay for you. From there, I will communicate with your unconscious and planting hypnotic suggestions that will help you make the changes that you want to make. And since you know that the vagus nerve's main job is to communicate between the conscious and the unconscious, that can help you, help me, help you. So, hypnosis can always be seen as a great way to stimulate the vagus nerve. We can see that vagus nerve in return offers a great way to ensure that my hypnotic suggestions have as much as of impact as possible on you, right? That's the wandering vagabond of nerve. Really is the ultimate communication superhighway, communicating between the conscious and the unconscious mind. Yes, it runs all the way down to the coccyx, and it runs out through several different organ systems. But Heart Math Institute said that the heart has a secondary brain. Some other research institutes say that the gut is the second brain. That's where your intuition comes from. Go with your gut, right? What does your gut tell you? You got that gut instinct, right? You know what I'm talking about. You feel it in your gut. You need to do this, or you don't need to do that, or you don't want to walk down that dark alley, right? So how many different brains do you have? Because according to the Heart Math Institute, the same type of neurological structure that's in the brain is in the heart. And the vagus nerve runs throughout the entire abdominal area, encompassing your small intestines and every organ in that system. Well, it also incorporates the lungs and the heart. So, communication with the mind. Where is the mind? The conscious and subconscious, we're talking about the mind. According to Dr. Bruce Lipton, the mind is not in the brain. The mind is basically, what he's saying is basically in the aura. It's basically in the toroid field surrounding your body. It's in the electromagnetic field surrounding your body. How strong is that field today? What is your vibration today? Can you strengthen that? Yes, you can. Have a stronger mind. Not interrupted by electronic devices, considering the electromagnetic toroid is an electromagnetic, bioelectromagnetic toroid. It's an electromagnetic device. When you have another electromagnetic device inside that field, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? A little bit of distortion? A lot of distortion? If your toroid is not strong, what do you think this little thing is going to do to your freaking electromagnetic field? Anyways, the vagus nerve. Communication to the subconscious and unconscious mind. Think about that. And it works. I've used it. I've used it on myself. But that's an actual course altogether that's going to take a lot of time. And I need to hammer that out to make sure it flows a lot better than one of these little talks that I talk to myself about in the basement of my house. Right? Okay. That was me talking to you about the vagus nerve. There's going to be a few more on the vagus nerve because I need to hammer it out just a little bit more for everybody. And I am Nolen-John Zander. This is 9elementsministry.com on the YouTube side. Check out my rumbles for the stuff that cannot be posted on YouTube because of social police.